Why are we doing this book? Why are we doing this study? Well, if you look at what is the foundational order of society, marriage and the family. The very foundational order of society is marriage and family. If you want to change the world, or if Satan wants to destroy the world, he goes after the family. Because the family, when the family is healed, then your neighborhood is healed. Once your neighborhood is healed, then your city, and then your nation, and then the world. He is after the family, and he's been after it in the past 100 years like havoc. Our Lady of Fatima in 1917 appeared to 3 children. One of them was Sister Lucia, this little girl that Mary appeared to. Years later, Cardinal Evert, which is St. John Paul II's secretary, St. John Paul II is who the one wrote this Theology of the Body, sent Sister Lucia a message for prayers. And Sister Lucia said back to Cardinal Evert, the final battle between God and Satan will be between marriage and family. And Cardinal Evert said, this is happening right now. The divorce rate from the early 1900s was 3 to 5%. The divorce rate now is over 50%. There are 28,000 users on pornography every second. And there's $3,000 being spent in pornography every second. There were only 3 known sexually transmitted diseases in 1960. There are now over 25. The world believed the sexual revolution gave us sexual freedom, but they gave us sexual addiction. If we aren't in control of ourselves and our passions are more in control of us, we are not free. Right? Do you guys agree with that? So, St. John Paul II, in 1979 to 1984, delivered this monster. Look at this bad boy. For 5 years, he delivered in the midst of the sexual revolution where the culture was idolizing the human body, believing that the body was God, that it can give me total fulfillment. John Paul II says, you want to know who you are? Let's go into who we are. And what he said, and what you saw in this chapter, was that this man, woman, child, the one flesh union of man and woman, is the entryway, is the door into the mystery of God. Let us make man in our image and in our likeness. This is what God says. Let us. He's dialoguing in himself. Let us. And Jesus reveals what that means. God is love. Lover, beloved, love in between. This union of Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Let us make man in our image and in our likeness. Male and female, he created them. Imprinted in the masculine body is a call to give, to become a gift, totally. Imprinted in femininity is to receive the gift of the man. And through their communion of love comes forth the fruit that they give a name to. This is the crown of creation. This is the crown of creation. And you guys, I don't know if you guys remember this quote, but John Paul II says, the body, which is an image of God, and only the body in all of creation can reveal the invisible mystery hidden from all eternity. And thus to be a sign of it. If that's the case, if the body is the crown, the most beautiful, the pinnacle that gives us a little glimmer into who God is, where's Satan gonna wreak havoc at? The body. And so rather of seeing the union, which is consummated and fulfilled in the sexual embrace, the greatest window in love to the heart of God, if this is supposed to be a window to here, and this gets attacked, which has been attacked since the beginning of time, we have two options, is what the world says. You can either be afraid of it and just live a spiritual life and you're running away. The body's bad. Tendencies like that, which are lies from Satan. If we're running away from what is the doorway into the mystery of God, we're getting nowhere. And this is why we went to St. Augustine's quote, "A man who is lost in his passions is less lost than the man who has lost passion." Because a man who's running away from their sexuality is way farther away than the person who is stuck at the icon, the image. This is what pornography is. This is what the hookup culture is. It's trying to seek satisfaction right here. St. John Paul II, and what you guys have read, is that no, it's an image that leads you into the heart of God. If I asked you guys right now, this is what Adam experienced in the beginning, when he was naked without shame. He was looking at the other animals. He's like, what's going on here? If I asked you guys right now to look at me, Brendan, my unique person, what are you looking at? Someone say it. What are you looking at when you look at me? My body. You're looking at my body. You're looking at my body to see me. This is what Adam's body revealed when and especially when he saw Eve. He didn't see just a body. He didn't stop at the surface and make it an idol. John Paul II says he had the deep peace of the interior gaze. When he saw the feminine body, he saw the feminine soul being manifested through the body. So when you look at me, you are looking at my body. So here, ready? Your body is you. You are your body. You aren't in your body. You are your body. If I'm dying and decaying, you don't say, oh, he's going to be fine. It's just his body. He will be fine. His body won't. No, you say, I am dying. He is dying. The body is the person. And this is why the union of man and woman is not just a joining of bodies, but it's the joining of persons. Animals, penguins, she referenced penguins in her book, they cannot join the communion of persons. They cannot make a gift of themselves. Penguins cannot love. They love on a tiny, tiny level. So this is where we're going. And you guys are probably thinking, okay, Brendan, I get it. The body is an image of God, but I can't see it. I'm struggling with this. I'm struggling with that. I can't see it. I want to bring up a movie that I just watched that will kind of speak to this. And this is where I want to be going in this study. Have you seen the movie Gemini Man? Raise your hand if you've seen the movie. No one. Well, it's not, the ratings aren't that good. Okay. You have? So in Gemini Man, Will Smith is an assassin and he just retired and he left. And this group was after him to kill him. This former assassin who's Will Smith. And this man cloned Will Smith because Will Smith was the best assassin and they cloned him. So Will Smith is 51 and his clone is 23 years old. And they're fighting each other, and Will Smith is like basically telling him to stop, and he's trying to tell him, you're my clone, I know you. And he's like, you're allergic to bees. You don't sleep well at night. And he's trying to tell him, I know who you are. And he says to him, and this thing hit me, but he's like, you're 23, right? He's like, you're still a virgin, aren't you? He's like, gosh, I know you want a relationship and I know you want to connect, but you're so terrified to let anybody come near you. Because if anybody saw you, who you really are, there's no way they would love you. And now everyone else is targets and you're just a weapon. And that hit me hard, because what we've inherited, and this is, sin has made us not be able to see this. Sin has crumpled up our hearts. And it's not allowing us to be loved, because if anyone's seen what I have done, there's no way they would love me. So we live superficial lives. This is why we go after pornography. This is why we go after the hookup culture, because, if anyone actually saw me. But you want to be seen. If you're honest with yourself, you want to be seen. Or we run away from it. I don't want any personal relationship. I don't want any intimacy. But there's a new way. Instead of being on guard, someone's going to hurt me, you first turn to him and you know you're loved in your mess. Before you can date anyone, before you can get married, before you can be a priest or a nun, if you do not know, and this is me in my own self talking to myself, if I do not know that I am perfectly loved in all of my mess, and I remain in that identity, then I can love. Then I can be in a relationship. So what I want in this study, and it may hurt, and even in your prayer life, where are the areas in your life that you aren't allowing yourself to be loved? That's what purification is, to be a saint. It's looking at the places in my life where I am not being loved. That's where a wound is. That's where a hurt is. It could be a past rejection. That's a lot of my life. And you open it to him. So that's where I want this study to be going, because once that happens, you begin to see images of God in every person. You would never want to then go after the hookup culture, because you know what love is.